Welcome to Jake and Dad.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Dad. This is where Jake and I read books, we do fun projects, and we learn a lot of stuff. I want to start by asking Jake and all you guys a question. Here's my question. You ready? Okay, Jake. Let's say I take a coin, and then I take a piece of paper, and I drop them both. Which one is going to fall faster?
Coin.
Coin. Why?
I don't know.
What's going to happen to the paper when I drop it?
It's gonna go slower.
How? Show me with your hands.
I don't know.
Why don't we try it? I happen to have a coin here and a piece of paper. Let's try to drop them both and see what happens. You want to do this one? I'll do this one? You do the coin. Go ahead. 1, 2. Right, so everybody knows that when you drop a paper, it kind of does this. Why does it do that?
Because the wind.
There's wind, but I don't feel any wind here today, do you?
No.
But you make a good point, Jake. There's air in the room. We feel the air when it's windy. Wind is just air blowing at you, right? You could do that to somebody. So there is wind here, but it's not moving wind. And when you have wind that's not moving, that's what we call
Wind.
air. So air is everywhere. Air is basically the stuff that's here right now. I could hold air in my hands. You want to hold some air in your hands? Just do this. I could put air into something, like a balloon. If I blow up a balloon, there's definitely something in that balloon, even though I can't see it. That's air. Right, Jake? You like balloons, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so air is something that's all around us, and air is the reason why when we drop the paper, it doesn't fall straight down. The air is kind of hitting the paper, and the paper's falling slowly. So there's stuff all over us. The reason I'm explaining this to you is because we're going to do a really fun project today with this paper and some air. Come on over and let's do the project. This project, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a small piece of paper, I would say like rectangle, maybe 6 inches long by 2 inches, and a paper clip. And we're going to make, what are we going to make with that, Jake?
Helicopter.
A paper helicopter. Watch this, it's really easy. Okay, the first thing we want to do is fold this in half, right? Because we need to do something with the top half and something with the bottom half. Do you want to do this one while I do that one, Jake?
Can I fold it?
If you want, sure, fold it in half. Okay. This gets a little tricky because the bottom half is going to be folded into thirds. So why don't we just fold the whole thing into thirds? There's a reason for that. So Jake, after you fold it in half, you have to kind of unfold it and then fold it into thirds. Which is, let me do that for you. Take this one, and I'll do this one. So we have...
What do I do now?
Hold it. Okay, now we're going to unfold it. The reason why we folded that into thirds is because we need to cut...
What do I do?
Right in the middle of the page, up to that middle line there, and on the other side up to that middle line there. Let's do it on yours. I'm going to do it for you. 1 and 2. Now the reason we did that is because we need to make the bottom of our helicopter. To make the bottom of our helicopter, we're going to fold that in thirds. Right? You got it. Fold, fold. And then why don't we just fold this up a little bit so we have a heavy bottom. You don't have to do the top, Jake. Just one of them, the bottom. Okay? And then we're going to put the paper clip right on that bottom. Now we have a heavy bottom to our helicopter. And now we got to work on the top. So what do we do with the top now? We're going to fold this back down, but not all the way. We're going to leave a little bit straight so that it looks like this. You see that? We folded it down, but we left a little bit straight. The reason for that is because now we have to cut the helicopter slits. Remember when we folded it in half first? So now we're going to just take this and cut it just to that little line over here. And by the way, you may want to use a pencil if you want, so that when you're drawing this, before you do all the cutting, and let me just show everybody how to draw it before they cut it. You just put a line on top through the middle, and you put the 2 lines here where you cut it in thirds, 1 minute, and then you put a line here to remind you how far to cut the slit.
Okay.
Let's do the final cut, Jake. We did that here. Basically, your helicopter's finished. All you got to do is fold one wing this way and one wing that way, the other way, right? Then we're going to kind of straighten it out, right? And Jake's going to drop it. Let's see if it works. Right here, in front of the camera. High up, high up, high up, and let's see what happens. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's see what happens when we drop it, Jake. You ready? See that spin? And there's your paper helicopter. All right, that was a lot of fun. The reason the helicopter works is because when you drop it, the air is hitting it and forcing it to turn. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? All right, you want to keep the helicopter? Who's ready for today's book? Jake and I are going to read a really good book to you. This one is called Cookies by Robert Munsch. Robert Munsch is one of our favorite writers. Don't we like him? And this book is illustrated by Michael Marchenko. Who's the illustrator? What does the illustrator do? Do you remember? The illustrator draws the pictures, and the author writes the book. So let's read Cookies. Looks like a fun book, okay? By Robert Munsch. Here we go. Christopher walked down into the basement and saw a big pile of clay, like Play-Doh, in the corner. Wow, said Christopher. I love clay. Play-Doh. Do you have Play-Doh, Jake? Who loves Play-Doh? Raise your hands. Everybody does. What do you make with it? I think you like to make spaghetti with yours with that machine. And animals and toys and balls. Okay, here we go. So he got himself a piece of red clay and whapped it in his hands. Whap, 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 whap. Made it nice and round. Swish, 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 swish. Sprinkled it with sugar. Chick, 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 chick. Covered it with yellow icing. Glick, 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 glick. And put some raisins on top. Plunk, 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 plunk. These are really funny words, Jake. Are these real words? Swish and plunk and glick and chick and whop? I think they're kind of words, but they're not words that we're used to. They're words that, what do you think they are, Jake? How would you kind of describe those words? Swish, plunk, glick, whop. You don't know? Let's think about it, and we'll talk about it later. Look at him throwing it up there. I think he wants to make something with his clay. What's he going to make? Then Christopher went upstairs and said, Mommy, look, Daddy made you a cookie. Oh, said his mother, that's so nice. I didn't even know he could cook.
It's really clay.
Right, it's clay cookie, right?
It's sketching.
Right, he's kidding. So she picked up that cookie and took a big bite. Scrunch, and she yelled, yuck, pwah, split, clay, glah, glah, glah. You see some more of those words, Jake? Yuck, wah, split. What are those words? I think that's what it sounded like when she was doing this. I don't like that cookie, right? Okay, here we go. She ran to the bathroom and washed out her mouth for a long time. Scritch, 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 scritch. While his mother was washing out her mouth, Christopher got himself another piece of red clay. Look at her washing it all out. And he whopped it in his hands. Whop, 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 whop. Made it nice and round. Swish, 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 swish. Sprinkled it with sugar. Chick, 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 chick. What's he making?
No.
And we have more of these sound words, right? Can we call them sound words? You like that? Let's call it a sound word, okay? Covered it with yellow icing. Glick, 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 glick. And put some raisins on top. Plunk, 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 plunk. Then he went upstairs to find his father. Christopher said, Daddy, look, Mommy made you a cookie. Ooh, said his father. That's so nice. It's been a long time since your mother made me some cookies. So he picked it up and took a big bite. Scrunch. What is scrunch? That's the sound a big bite makes, right? So we have another sound word. Okay. And he yelled, yuck, pwah, splich, play, clay, glah, glah, glah. That cookie tasted so bad he ran to the bathroom, and what did he do? He washed out his mouth. Scritch, 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 scritch. By the time his father and mother came out of the bathroom, Christopher was late for school. So they called up the teacher and said, Christopher's giving people play clay cookies. Don't worry, said the teacher. I know just what to do. Uh-oh. I hope his teacher doesn't give us play clay. Let's see what she's going to do. She got herself red play clay. Who's she? The teacher. And whopped it in her hands. Whop, 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 whop. And made it nice and round. Swish, 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 swish. And sprinkled it with sugar. Chick, 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 chick. And covered it with yellow icing. Glick, 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 glick. And put some raisins on top. Plunk, 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 plunk. Then she put the cookie on Christopher's chair. When Christopher came in, he said, look at that lovely cookie. He picked it up and took a big bite. Scrunch. And he yelled, yuck, pwah, split, play clay, glah, 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 glah. That cookie tasted so bad, he ran to the bathroom and washed out his mouth. Burble, burble, splat, split, wah. When Christopher came back from the bathroom, the teacher said, and now would everyone like to make some real cookies? And the class said, what is that word? Yes! Everyone likes to make cookies. And when Christopher was done with his cookie, oh my goodness. Look at that, there's a wagon carrying it, it's so big. He took it home to give to his mother and father. They look a little afraid. The end. All right, that's a great book. If you see any other books by Robert Munsch, I suggest you get them because we love him. I want to show you something what this book did, by the way. In this book, they give you a recipe for mom's play clay. Of course, it says make sure the adult does all the preparations because you have to use a stove. Take a look at that. You can pause it, and your mom or dad can make some play clay or play dough for you homemade. Anyway, thanks for being with us. Say goodbye to everybody, and we're going to see you next time on Jake and Dad.